What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Talkin Sports with Jake. Hope you're all doing well. So, we had big news earlier today. Joe Dumars has agreed to become the next president of basketball operations for the New Orleans Pelicans. They let go of David Griffin, I believe it was yesterday, and they worked very quickly to bring in Joe Dumars. Dumars is a Louisiana native. He, of course, was a Hall of Fame NBA player for those bad boy Pistons teams, Hall of Fame shooting guard for those Pistons teams back in the 90s, and he was the head basketball operations guy for the Pistons years ago, was the basketball operations guy when they won the championship in 2004. Very accomplished. He's been out of the league for a while. Kind of surprising to me because he's a very good NBA executive. He's actually ran the operations for the NBA itself for a while now, but he has the Pelicans and Dumars have moved quickly to bring him in as the next president of baseball operations. I think it's a good hire. He knows what he's doing. I think it's a good hire for the New Orleans Pelicans, and we'll see what changes happen. I mentioned yesterday, I do think Zion Williamson does get moved in the offseason. I wouldn't be surprised if guys like even Deontay Murray, even though he just got there, and guys like him also get moved. Maybe C.J. McCollum also gets moved. Obviously, you already traded Brett Ingram to Toronto at the trading deadline. You get back a couple picks in that deal. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's next, but it's up to Joe Dumars. He's the next president of basketball operations for the New Orleans Pelicans. Moving on, NHL playoff picture. I just want to do a quick little update here as we are very close to the playoffs, of course. Every team's got like a game or two left in the Eastern Conference. AT still up for grabs. Columbus 4 points back of Montreal. Montreal has 1 game left. Columbus has 2 games left. So that 8 seed is still up for grabs in the Eastern Conference. As for playoff matchups, looks like we're going to get technically Tampa could still steal the Atlantic from Toronto. They're 4 points back. Both teams have 2 games remaining. And then, but right now, it will be Tampa hosting Florida. That's what it's most likely going to be. And then we're definitely going to get Carolina hosting the Devils, I would think, unless. And Columbus is 4 points back of the Devils for the 7th spot. They already clinched a playoff spot. Both teams have 2 games left, so most likely Carolina will host the Devils. Washington, I would think, would host Montreal or Columbus. And Toronto most likely is going to host Ottawa. And then the Western Conference side, kind of still in the same spot that we were. Minnesota actually is now a point ahead of the Blues for the 7th spot. After they win last night, Blues lose in overtime. Flames 2 points behind the Blues. They have 2 games left. Blues only have 1 game left, but also only have 1 game left. So a bit of a race there. Of course, Blues got really hot down the stretch. Had a 12-game win streak recently that stormed them into the playoff picture. So they'll probably going to hold off the Flames, but still not set in stone yet. Again, let's recap the playoff matchups. It is locked in that Dallas is going to host Colorado in the first round. And then, and also for the 4th year in a row, the Kings are going to host the Edmonton Oilers in the first round. As for the Winnipeg Jets, they are probably going to, I would think they would host St. Louis. And then most likely, Vegas is probably going to end up hosting Minnesota. But those 2 teams could flip-flop. Like I said, Calgary is still in the race as well. Only 2 points back, and they have a game in hand. So the main thing we're going to discuss today is I'm going to predict the NBA playoffs right now. Let's get started. Eastern Conference, we're going to start with them. But we're going to start with the play-in on both sides. As for the play-in, the 7-8 matchup is the Orlando Magic hosting the Atlanta Hawks. I'm going to take the Orlando Magic. Magic, I don't think are a bad team. They have a bunch of injuries throughout the season. Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner both missed significant time this year. Also, bringing Kentavious Caldwell-Pope did not go the way that they thought. He did not provide as much floor spacing as they originally thought was going to happen. Atlanta was a little better than I thought they were going to be. I thought they were going to be really full off. Last year, they were the 10 seed, and they're losing in the first playing round to Chicago. The game wasn't even that close. Obviously, Troy Ray, Deontay Murray, but Dyson Daniels has had a breakout season. Trae Young has been Trae Young. You still have guys like Clint Capella there. even after trading away DeAndre Hunter, they still hung on to the 8th seed in the Eastern Conference. But I think Orlando gets it done. They move on to face the Boston Celtics in the first round. And the 9-10 game between the Chicago Bulls and Miami Heat, I am going to take the Miami Heat. The last 2 years, these two teams have faced off in the battle for the 8th seed, winner go home game. Now they're in a 9-10 battle. Miami won each of the last 2 years. I think they win again. Obviously, Miami has not been the same team since trading away Jimmy Butler, but they still have some pieces there. Tyler Hero had a really good year. Khalil Ware might be the rookie of the year. Andrew Wiggins is a good player. They still have some pieces there. This is not a team that's built for a run by any means. However, the Bulls, although they've been playing better, Josh Giddey's been playing some really good basketball as of late. They have a young team. Its core starting to form a little bit over there. But I still think this team is a couple of years away from really competing for anything. Miami Heat are just simply more experienced. They've been hopefully able to put the stuff with Butler in the past by now. So I'm going to take the Miami Heat to eliminate the Bulls, which means the Atlanta Hawks face off against the Miami Heat in the 8-9 game. 2 years ago, Atlanta played Miami in the 7-8 game. Atlanta won. However, the Heat ended up getting by the Bulls in the 8-seed game and ended up going to the finals. These two teams face off again. I'm going to take Atlanta. Miami's in a situation where they just want the season to end at this point. Neither team is very good. Both teams are very mediocre. But I'll take Trae Young, Jason Daniels, and company over the group that Miami has. Could go either way, but I will take Atlanta to squeak by. And they will be the 8th seed, and they will play the Cleveland Cavaliers in the first round. The Eastern Conference first round is set. In the Western Conference, the play-in, Golden State Warriors host the Memphis Grizzlies. I'm going to take Golden State. Memphis has been really struggling. Obviously, you fired Taylor Jenkins for a very questionable reason. I don't even know what it is, to be honest. Not a bad team. Western Conference is really loaded. John Morant's a great player. You have guys like Desmond Bane, and they have some other good players. Jaren Jackson's a great defender. Zach Edey even contributed as a rookie. I'm not sure how long that's going to be in the NBA, but as a rookie, he did his job as their starting 5 this year. But Golden State is simply a better team. They've been playing some great basketball since they got Jimmy Butler. He's played very well, especially defensively. Steph Curry is still Steph Curry. You got some other guys there like Jonathan Kuminga. Draymond is still there. Kevon Looney is still there down low. I think Golden State wins this round convincingly, and they move on to face the Houston Rockets in the first round of the NBA playoffs. And then 9-10 matchup, Sacramento Kings at the Dallas Mavericks. Two teams that obviously come in below expectations. Kings, surprisingly and questionably, fired Mike Brown earlier in the season. Obviously not gone to court to play, and they traded De'Aaron Fox at the trade line to the Spurs as well. So probably want the season to end. Dallas definitely wants the season to end, obviously, trading away Luka Doncic for Anthony Davis, who has only played a few games for them, and Kyrie Irving is injured. The rest of our team might as well be injured. It's a disaster. I'm going to take Sacramento. Dallas is just lifeless at this point. Unless Anthony Davis has one of the greatest games ever in league history, has a 60-point triple-double or something. I don't see them beating the Kings, who we don't have a ton of firepower either, but Sabonis is a great player. Got some other guys there. You have Valanciunas down low, Sylvia, Kevin Huerter, some pieces like that. So even with an interim coach, I think they get past the Dallas Mavericks and eliminate them from playoff contention, which means the 8-seed game will be between the Memphis Grizzlies and the Sacramento Kings. Tough one to pick. Could go either way. I'm going to give the edge to the Memphis Grizzlies. Both teams fired their coaches. Kings was a couple months ago. Grizzlies was only a couple of weeks ago. Both teams are fraudulent teams in the Western Conference who are not going to go very far. Both teams have been struggling. I'll give a slight edge. I'm going to give a slight edge to the... Actually, I don't know. I'll give a slight edge to the Grizzlies. I think they're slightly a better team. Kings' locker might be in a smidge of a better place. Kings' locker, of course, they fired Mike Brown and then traded De'Aaron Fox. Grizzlies fired Taylor Jenkins a couple weeks ago. So maybe the Kings' locker room is in a slightly better place, but both are in a good place. I think the Grizzlies are a slightly better team. And I think they sneak past the Sacramento Kings, and they face off against Oklahoma City Thunder in the first round. So, now the playoffs is set. Eastern Conference, Cleveland Cavaliers hosting the Atlanta Hawks. I'm going to take Cleveland in 5 games. Cleveland's a really good team. Obviously, you win 64 games. Donovan Mitchell, who has never been a superstar come playoff time, although he is a superstar for the most part in the regular season, he's very good. You have Evan Mobley, who's probably going to be the defensive player of the year. You have a lot of other really good players there. You got Jared Allen down low as well. Ty Jerome had a career year for them. He's probably going to be sixth man of the year. Max Strus is not a bad role player. This is a very good team. Atlanta, Trae Young can shoot the lights out. Dyson Daniels had a phenomenal year. He's a defensive player of the year candidate as well. Capella's a great rebounder down low. But Cavs are just too much. Atlanta, as always, are going to get shellacked in the first round. It happens again. It's time to the hands of the Cleveland Cavaliers. Boston Celtics against the Orlando Magic. I'm going to take the Boston Celtics in 5 games as well. I think Magic will grab one game. They are very good defensively, but they're simply overmatched. Don't have the offensive prowess to compete with the Boston Celtics. This is the same team that won the championship a year ago in dominating fashion. Tatum's an amazing player. Brown was Finals MVP last year. Drew Holiday is, of course, a great defender. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. Derek White's a great player. You still have Al Horford. This is the same group. This is still an amazing team. Probably are the favorites to at least come out of the East, if not win the whole thing again. They beat the I'll give the Magic one game, but I think that the Boston Celtics win without much of a problem. 3 seed New York Knicks. My New York Knicks. I have my Brunson jersey on. Against the 6 seed Detroit Pistons. I'm going to take the New York Knicks in this series in 7 games. This should be a really entertaining series. Knicks, I don't see them making a deep playoff run. They are 0-9 against the Celtics, Cavs, and Oklahoma City Thunder. They have not been very good defensively this year. You know the deal with Tom Thibodeau and his short rotations. However, Brunson is a star. Thankfully, they got him back a week or 2 ago from that ankle injury. Currently, Towns has had a career season. OG Anunoby is a great player. He's been playing really well in the second half of the year. He really stepped up in the absence of Jalen Brunson. Great defender, and has really shot the ball well since in the absence of Jalen Brunson. Hart's is another good player. You have, of course, Mikal Bridges. Maybe it hasn't been worth the 5 first-round picks, but he is still a decent player. Bench is obviously a little thin. Outside of Deuce McBride, and then Mitchell Robinson on the defensive end, and it's Landry Shamet, who's an okay 3-point shooter. On the bench, that's about it. Campaign isn't anything special. That's really the length for their bench. However, the Pistons, I do think they're a good team. It's not a greatest matchup in the world for the Knicks. Kate Cunningham had a phenomenal season. Might be first team All-NBA. Jaden Ivey is a good player. You have Duran down low. Isaiah Stewart's another big get that they have. Tobias Harris had a better season this year. Of course, Knicks saw him in the first round last year in Philadelphia. This is a good team. 44 wins. They had a great season. Bounce back year. J.B. Bickerstaff should be coach of the year, in my opinion. He is a very good coach. This is a team that obviously exceeded expectations, but they're very inexperienced, and I think this is not quite the year where they have a run. I think the Knicks win 7 games, but this should be an exciting series. I'm pretty confident the Knicks do win the series. I don't know if people are picking the Knicks to be upset. I think it's just what they want to see because, Knicks obviously got a lot of media attention to only to take a step back from last season. And the Pistons, of course, everyone loves an underdog story, but I do think the Knicks will get it done. However, the Pistons do have a bright future if they make a move in the offseason. Could be a legit contender next season. Could be better than next season, honestly, if they can make a move for a big piece in the offseason. But I think right now the Knicks are a better basketball team and they get it done. And it's the Detroit Pistons. If not, Tom Thibodeau will be out of a job probably within 48 hours, unfortunately. Indiana Pacers hosting the Milwaukee Bucks. Pacers won in 7 games last year. I think Indiana gets it done again. I'm thinking the Pacers win in 6 games. They are not very good defensively. I think Rick Carlisle is an overrated coach. However, this team is really talented offensively. Halliburton's a really good player. Had a much better second half. They're coming out a little slow. Miles Turner's really good. Siakam is a great player. You have a lot of good role players who can score, like Ben Shepherd. You have Ben Malford healthy. Obi Toppin is not a bad guy offensively off the bench. And in Milwaukee, Dame Lillard's going to miss the start of this series, possibly the entire series. You have Giannis, who didn't play in the series last year. Giannis is obviously an amazing player, but he has no help. Brook Lopez could shoot a little bit and can make an impact on the defensive end of the basketball court, but not the same player. And there really isn't a whole lot there. Milwaukee is going to have a hard time stopping Indiana once again. Their bench is very thin. You know we'll deal with Doc Rivers. I think Indiana gets it done. And Dame Lillard, I don't know how many games he's going to play in this series. He's going to miss, I would think, at least the first two. I have seen him getting it back into at least game 3. He's got that blood clot issue. If they see him in almost series, I don't be kind of surprised. If Dame was healthy, I think I might take Milwaukee to sneak by. This should be a pretty good series. I think Indiana wins in 6 games, which means the Cleveland Cavaliers face off against the Indiana Pacers in the second round. I'm going to take Cleveland in 6 games. Obviously, Cleveland upset the Knicks in 7 games last year. Knicks also dealing with all those injuries. Indiana coming up big in that series. I was thinking about taking the Pacers in this series, but Cleveland is good defensively. I think they'll be able to hold Indiana in check. They can match their depth. I think Cleveland in a hard-fought series wins in 6 games. And then the Boston Celtics host the New York Knicks in the conference semifinals. I don't take Boston in 5. Knicks simply do not match up well with the Boston Celtics. The first few matchups were all blowouts. Second to last one, Knicks were getting destroyed at the half. Made it close going to the fourth, and then Boston pulled away. Last game was really close. Knicks lose in overtime. So I think they will grab one game this year. That's about it. They simply don't match up well. They're not going to be able to stop the Boston Celtics. Boston's just better, stronger. They're deeper. They're just a better team. Probably even more better coached as well. Although I do like Tom Thibodeau a lot. Joe Mazzulla is a very good basketball coach. Boston wins in 5 games. Hopefully it doesn't get Tom Thibodeau fired. I think if they win at least one game, the series is competitive in most of the games. I think he gets another year. Hopefully, I do like Tibbs, though he obviously has his issues. But I'm gonna take the Boston Celtics to meet up with the Cavs in the Eastern Conference Finals, where I do have the Boston Celtics going back to the finals. It hurts me to say that I have them beating the Knicks, and that in the conference finals I have them going back to the finals. But I don't see it. Cleveland is not as experienced. Boston's just a better basketball team. I think Boston wins in 6 games. Honestly, I think they're just more built to win the playoffs. I think Boston goes back to the finals. Western Conference. Oklahoma City Thunder, they are facing off against the Memphis Grizzlies. I'm going to Thunder actually in 4 games. I don't think Memphis gets a game. John Morant's a great player. Bane's a really good shooter. Jaren Jackson makes impact defensively. Edie's is a good rebounder. But Thunder, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is having a ridiculous season. One of the greatest ever. He's my MVP of the league. That team can shoot the lights out. They are amazing defensively. They are really deep. Mark Daniel's a very good coach. Last year, obviously, losing the second round despite being a favorite to possibly come out of the West. This year, you have a year. They have a year under their belt. You have a couple of other vets there, including Alex Caruso. Chet Holmgren is healthy. I think this is the year for the Thunder. Memphis is a mess right now. After firing Taylor Jenkins. Not sure what's going on over there. I think Ja might be getting traded in the offseason, to be honest. Thunder, I think, sweep the Grizzlies. Rockets are hosting the 17 Golden State Warriors. I'm actually going to take the Warriors in an upset here. I think the Golden State Warriors take this series in 6 games. The Rockets, to me, are a bit overhyped. They won 52 games, whatever it was. They were 2 seed. But they are really inexperienced. They are not very good offensively. That's a great defensive team. Ime Udoka is a great coach. I think he should be more hype in the Coach of the Year race than he is. One of the league's best coaches, in my opinion. Obviously, he took the Celtics to the finals in his first season. Then he obviously is a bit of a dumbass and had a little too much fun with another female. Consensually, nothing illegal, but can't be banging the CEO's wife. I'm sorry, got fired. He used to give him a second chance, and he's got him back in the playoffs within a couple of years. So he's a really good coach. They have a lot of nice young pieces there. Jalen Green's a very good player. Sengun's a really good big down low. Other players like Cam Whitmore, Jabari Smith. But I think they're a year or 2 away from being a legit contender. If they had a vet or 2 in the offseason, this could be a very dangerous team going forward. But the Warriors, they're just so much more experienced, obviously. Having won 4 championships since 2014 or whatever it is. Stephen Curry's still an amazing player. Butler is a great postseason performer. Draymond is still there. Kuminga is another player you have. I went through this. I think Golden State is going to overpower them. Los Angeles Lakers against the Minnesota Timberwolves. I want to take Minnesota really bad, but I am going to take the Lakers. I'm going to take them in 6 games. LeBron, y'all know how I feel about LeBron. I don't like him. He is still a very good player. Luka is obviously Luka. Austin Reeves been playing some really good basketball. You have Hachimura there. Don't have a legit big. Jackson Hayes is the extent of that. I think Gobert could have a good time. Anthony Edwards is an amazing player. However, Julius Randle has been really bad in the playoffs. I really enjoyed his tenure with the Knicks. I was one of the very few Randle troopers throughout his entire tenure with the Knicks, really his entire NBA career. I like him a lot as a player. Obviously, he's back healthy. You have DiVincenzo there coming off the bench shooting the 3-ball. With Julius Randle, I want to say he's able to fix his playoff mistakes, but it's hard to believe that at this point. I do think if Julius Randle is the guy he is in the regular season, giving you 24, 8, and 5, I think Minnesota actually might be able to win the series in an upset. But unless that happens, I don't think they will have enough. And Lakers taking in 6 games. You have the Denver Nuggets against the Los Angeles Clippers, the 4-5 matchup. Really interesting matchup. Nuggets, of course, fired Mike Malone last week. However, they have Nikola Jokic, who is having a ridiculous season. Coin flip between him and Shai for the MVP. Los Angeles Clippers. I'm really torn on this one. If Malone was the coach, I would take the Nuggets possibly in 5, if not 6. I wouldn't even think twice. Without Malone, I want them to lead in the Clippers. They've had a good season. However, they do this every single year. I am going to take the Nuggets in 7. Kawhi Leonard has been playing great since he came back, missed the first whatever it was, 30 games, whatever it was. Every year he comes in playing really good basketball. Clippers look like a possible threat. And then he gets hurt. Game 2, he gets hurt and missed the rest of the series, and then they get slapped in the face. I don't want to say it happens again, but I need to believe it when I'll believe it when I see it. James Harden has played very well this year. Still a really good player, but he has not been good in the playoffs at any point in his career whatsoever. With Denver, Jokic has a ton of help. Jamal Murray hasn't had a great year. Porter hasn't had a great year. They tried to trade to both of those guys. Russell Westbrook has been playing great. He's never been good in the playoffs either, though he's not as big of a role. But you also have Aaron Gordon there, really underrated player, great defender there. I think the Nuggets, who I think are a complete mess right now, but I think they squeak by the Clippers because I think we know the Clippers. They're old, they're overrated, and I'm not kind of a Kawhi will make it through the series. Which means the Oklahoma City Thunder will face off against Denver Nuggets in the second round. I got the Thunder winning actually in 5. Jokic is amazing, but he doesn't have enough help. Thunder are deeper. They're a better team, and simply their obviously locker room is in a much better place. So I'll take the Thunder. And then we got the Los Angeles Lakers facing off against the Golden State Warriors. I'm gonna take the Lakers in 7. Hate to give LeBron any credit, but I am gonna have to give it to him here. Lakers. This will be a really good series. 7-game series. LeBron versus Steph again. Obviously, Steph is 3-1 in the finals. 2 years ago, LeBron beat him in the conference semis. He's got obviously the difference is going to be Luka Doncic in this one. To me, the weakness is for the Lakers. They don't have a legit big. But the problem is Golden State doesn't either. Draymond's not a center. He's not going to hurt you offensively. He's not the same player. And Kevon Looney, he's a great rebounder, but he's not going to be, hurting you offensively by any means. So I think the Lakers are going to be a little bit too much. I think they win in 7 games. Though I will not be surprised if Golden State won the series, not going to lie. And then Western Conference Finals, Thunder against the Lakers. I know Shannon has been doing his little, his little stupid little rhymes, Lakers in 5. I'm going to take the Oklahoma City Thunder in 7 games. I think the Thunder are just going to be too much. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's had an amazing year. They have so many long guys over there that can shoot. Guys like Luke Dortz, Jalen Williams, so many pieces over there. Caruso. This team is amazing defensively. Also, they have Chet Holmgren and Isaiah Hartenstein. I think Lakers are going to have a lot of trouble with that, and that's going to cost them. In fact, this could even be a 6-game series. But either way, I think the Thunder win the series and advance to the finals. Thunder Celtics in the finals. I'm going to Oklahoma City Thunder in 6 games. We gotta remember the Celtics have go deep in the playoffs every year. 2022, they were in the finals. In 23, they were in the Eastern Conference Finals. They won the championship last year. They're back in the finals. They're going to be tired. They're going to be a little fatigued. Also, remember, Jason Tatum has not always performed the best in the postseason. Been a little bit inconsistent. Jalen Brown before last year was inconsistent in the playoffs. So the Thunder, they're going to be maybe a little bit arrested. They're even deeper than the Boston Celtics. They're even better defensively than the Boston Celtics. They can match them offensively. I think the Thunder are going to overmatch the Celtics just a little bit. And the Thunder will be your 2024-2025 NBA champions. To close things out, let's talk about Monday Night Raw. It is WrestleMania week. So excited. We kicked off with a Gunther promo. It was supposed to be, Michael Cole was going to interview him, and then obviously Gunther got a little pissed off. That was a great promo, saying like, because you're referring to Jey Uso saying like he lost control when Jey Uso came out at one point, and then he was like, I've been in control my whole 37 years of my life. He's like, you're lucky I bathed in Jimmy Uso's blood. It should have been yours. That was an incredible promo from Gunther, maybe the best of his career. And he had Bayley against one half of the women's tag champs, Liv Morgan. Bayley escapes with a win, help from Lyra. Of course, those four are in a tag team match against each other. They had Rey Mysterio against Julius Creed. Rey Mysterio wins, but El Grande Americano again with the stuffed mask attacks him afterwards. I'm pretty sure we're pretty obviously Chad Gable. Those two are, of course, have a WrestleMania match. AJ Styles against Karrion Kross. AJ Styles wins. That was a really good match. I'm happy Kross brought back his old theme. I hope he gets a push. He's really talented. He always has been. This guy was dominant in NXT. He's really good in the ring. His character work is absolutely phenomenal. He's good on the mic. This guy is the full package. I really hope that he gets the push because he's really good. And that was a great match. Yeah, he had a great match with AJ Styles, who's one of the best in-ring guys the wrestling has ever seen. Then Jey Uso had a little warning to Gunther, as of course they have their World Heavyweight Championship match this weekend. They had Penta against Finn Balor. Finn Balor wins at disqualification. Of course, Braun Breaker gets involved just when they attacked them backstage. Of course, the Fatal 4 for the Intercontinental title. Braun, Finn, Dom, and Penta. Then you had the promo between Paul Heyman, CM Punk, Roman Reigns, and Rollins. Of course, you had throughout the show, you saw Paul Heyman's, just like sitting down, waiting for Roman Reigns, and then Punk sits next to him, starts talking to him. Then Roman shows up, gives him a death stare, walks past him, goes out to the ring, and then he asked Heyman why. Heyman's like, I paid back a favor that I was owed. And Roman was like, I feel like I'm the only one getting screwed here. Then Seth Rollins came out. Then CM Punk came out. Of course, it ended up being a whole brawl. And with Roman eventually spearing CM Punk. And then, as he goes to embrace Heyman, he shoves Heyman. And that was it. I cannot wait for WrestleMania. That's going to be that main event tonight 1. I cannot wait for that. Going to be very exciting. That's all I got for you guys today. Till next time, so long, and have a great day.